Welcome to Poppy's Kitchen. Today we're making pizza dough. Pizza dough is just the same as bread dough, but we'll be leaving out just a little bit of olive oil as we would be using for the bread dough. So with pizza dough, we'll have my ingredients already. We have 5 cups of flour, we have a tablespoon of olive oil, we have a tablespoon of sugar, we have 2 tablespoons of cornmeal, which we'll be using to dust the board when we put it in the oven. Oh, before we get started, we need to prepare our yeast. So I have 2 cups of warm water. I tested it. It should be at 110 degrees. I also have 2 envelopes, or 1/2 ounce of yeast. And we have 1 teaspoon of sugar to get it started. Let me start with the sugar. We'll get this started. 1 teaspoon. I'll mix this in. And add in the yeast. Now I usually let this set with a towel over it for at least 10 minutes, and when it's ready it'll bloom and we'll know that the yeast is good. If it doesn't bloom, then we have to throw it out and start over again. So I already have one ready to go. This is what it should look like once it's bloomed. Now this is going into the mixing bowl. Next, I'm going to add my sugar. I need a tablespoon of salt. I'll incorporate this well together. Because you got to be careful with the salt. It reacts with the yeast and tends to kill the yeast. Set up the mixing bowl. I have it on a slow speed at this time. I like using a flexible bowl. It's easier to pour it into the mixing bowl. Now I may have to add more flour. It depends on how wet my dough is once this finishes. This is going to mix on low speed for approximately 10 minutes. After that time, I'm going to turn up the speed to medium and add in the olive oil. So this is going to be next. I'll set this aside for now. We'll come back in 10 minutes. Our dough looks just about perfect. It should be slightly sticky, just slightly. If it's too wet, we'll add more flour, a tablespoon at a time. If it's too dry, we'll add a little bit of water. But this looks just about right. Now I'm going to add in the olive oil. Turn it back on again and let it mix for about 5 minutes. Our dough is ready. Now I've already oiled with about 2 teaspoons of olive oil, a nice plastic bowl. I need to dust my tabletop. Remove this hook. Doesn't want to come out, so it'll stay in. All right. I just want to knead it a little bit. The dough hook did most of the kneading for me. So all I'm doing at this point is stretching the dough. That's going to bring out the gluten. Now I want to roll it so there's no creases in it. This goes in a bowl, plop in, flip it over. What I have is the dough is now ready to go into a proofer. I have an oven that has a proof setting. If I did not, I would just put it in a warm area of the room, a place where there's no drafts, and we'd be ready to go. So I'm going to cover the top with some plastic wrap. And this will go into the proofing oven for about 90 minutes. We'll be back. As you see, our dough has just about doubled. It's ready now to get punched down. Just a light dusting. I don't want to break the surface. All I want to do is get some of the air out of it. So I will fold it in on itself into threes. This is my interpretation of punching down the dough. That's punch down dough. Cover it again, put it back in the oven for maybe 30 minutes. It should double once again. Okay, our pizza dough has proofed. It rose twice. Now, of course, it's twice its size. All total, it took an hour and a half, 90 minutes to do this. Now I'm finished proofing the dough. I'm going to portion it out into equal amounts for the pizza crust. I'll be using 4.5 ounces for each pizza crust. That should work out to about a 9-inch in diameter pizza crust. So to make sure that everything is equal, I will use a scale. Turn on my scale, and again, I want this to be 4.5 ounces. It doesn't matter if it's 5 ounces, that's okay, as long as they're all equal. Okay, that was about 11, so I'm going to go less than half, a little more. That's a little over 5. Perfect. It's 4.5. I'm going to shape this into a little ball and put that on my proofing pad. I just happen to have a proofing pad. If you don't, you can put it on a piece of parchment paper. That works just as well. Okay. Doesn't have to be exact. I'm about 4.5 ounces per bowl. Good. Now I'm going to finish up the rest of this and come back. Okay? Now we're on the last one. Have 8 pizza crusts that we'll be using today. Now I'm just going to cover these over so they don't dry out. They will sit for about another 15 minutes. During that 15 minutes, they're going to rise again. So you want to have them spaced apart enough so that they don't stick together. And meanwhile, I'm going to turn on the oven. I'm going to preheat the oven to 475 degrees. We're using a hot oven because we want a little char on the pizza crusts. This oven is equipped with a baking stone. It's a simple stone we could pick up at Home Depot or any other home improvement store. As long as it's not glazed, it's fine. I use that all the time for bread and for pizza crust. So while that oven is getting hot, I'm going to start preparing the dough to go in. It's going to go in one slice at a time. Alright, let's make sure we have everything ready for the pizza crust. Of course, I said they're going into the oven next. While the oven is coming up to temperature, I'll prepare the first two pieces of crust. Our equipment, we have a pizza peel, we have a rolling pin, fork, a pastry scraper, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and a brush to brush on olive oil. First thing I want to do is put some cornmeal on the pizza peel. Just help it slide off easier when we get over to the oven. Set that over, out of the way. Take our first piece out. Just a little flour, and we want a little on the pin. This is the technique to get a thin crust. And as you see, the dough isn't shrinking back to its original size. That tells me that the dough has been proofed enough. If it was shrinking back to its original size after I roll it out, then I need to let it sit for about another 15 minutes. We want to get this to be about 9 inches in circumference. I'm sorry, in diameter. So you know how I stood in geometry class. I should just about be able to see through it when I pick it up, hold it to the light. At this point I can stretch a little bit with the back of my hand and my back of my fingers. It goes on the peel. Now so it doesn't, because it's going to go in par bake. Par baking, it would tend to bubble up all over. So I use a fork to keep that, allow the air to get out as it starts to rise. It won't bubble up on us. And of course I'm going to go around the edges with a little bit of olive oil. This olive oil can be infused, if you like, with garlic, basil, just about any herb you would like. That's pretty much ready. I'm going to cover that over until the oven comes up to temperature, which should be shortly, about another minute, and then I can go in. Meanwhile, I'll get the second crust ready. Sprinkle a little flour. This size is just perfect for an individual. And of course we're going to freeze them. And then you can have pizza in about 5 minutes. All you do is take it out of the freezer, let it thaw to room temperature. Sprinkle on about 2 tablespoons of tomato sauce, a little mozzarella, and any other condiments you're interested in, and you're ready to go. Okay, that can set as well. When the oven reaches temperature of 475, I'm ready to put in this slice of, well, the entire crust can go in, and that should be in a couple minutes. So we'll be back shortly. Our oven has reached the temperature, desired temperature. We just want to make sure that the dough will slide off of the peel. That went on quite easily. Now I'm going to set it for 6 minutes. At 6 minutes exactly, I will pull that out. It'll be par baked to perfect doneness. Alright, that's our signal. We're finished our first piece. As you can see, there's some browning on the top. I might want a little more browning, so I'll increase the time next time for 7 minutes. As you can see, our stack of pizza crusts are all ready to go into the freezer. Just need to wait for that last one to finish up in about 5 seconds. Okay. And this is the way we like it. So it should be nice and brown around the edges. And you see the bottom. That could finish cooking the next time we put it in. You can grill this. They're delicious grilled. Okay, that's about it from Poppy's Kitchen. Thank you for watching.